I've been refereeing since I was 18. Um, Love it. This is my full-time job. Um, when I started, it was a hobby. It was something to make some money, and then it became a profession, a passion, and now this is what I do for a living. This is how I support my family, and I mean, I enjoy it. I love it. It's not only my job, but it's my passion. But yeah, I mean, I see some familiar faces here as well. Diana Esquivel. So she was, man, a big part of who I am right now in my life and my referee life and everything. So I owe her a lot. Pedro Trejo, I think I see Pedro around here. He was the first one to actually talk to me about refereeing. I remember when I started, I had this badge and it said referee. And then I worked with this guy and his badge said state referee. I had no idea why he had a state referee and I had a regular referee badge. So I asked him and he started telling me about, hey, you could get assessments, you can upgrade. And I'm like, well, what for? And he was like, well, if you want to do higher games, you got to get your name out there. You got to get upgraded. So I did. And I started traveling from Bronzeville, which is a long way from San Antonio, 4 or 5 hours. And that was almost every weekend or even to Dallas or to Houston. So, I mean, it wasn't easy at the beginning. But I mean, here I am. And with the support of everybody, you know, even Diana Driggers, I remember there was, when we moved to San Antonio, we just had gotten in an apartment and we had no money to pay that rent, me and my wife. And we worked like 20 some games each on the weekend. And that's how we paid our rent. I remember it was awesome. I mean, there were some hard times at the beginning and there's still some hard times right now, but it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better. So, but it wasn't easy. The journey wasn't easy to become an MLS professional referee and a FIFA referee as well. So that's a little bit of my background. I mean, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. I'll do my best to answer them. So,
Right. I guess you touched on it a little bit, but was there anything that like kind of pushed you over the edge of seeing the opportunity to be a professional referee and a FIFA referee that we were like, you know what, I can do that. I can make it happen. So what kind of was that push?
yeah, so when I was coming up, I was going to tournaments and every tournament, you know, I was doing well. I was getting watched by people that were up there already. So they were like, hey, you know, how about if you go to another tournament, to another tournament? So that's how I went tournament by tournament. And I'm like, okay, I'm being selected to these kind of tournaments, which were out of the state. And I remember I was so excited to get on a plane. They were paying everything. I mean, getting out of even Texas or even Bronzeville was a big challenge for me. And so that was awesome. And I'm like, okay, each year I was coming up, I was upgrading really quick. I was 18, and then by the time I was actually 24, I got into the league. So it took me almost 6-7 years to get into the MLS, which was pretty cool because I was really young when that happened, and there was a lot of referees coming up. But I just felt that because I was getting invited to tournaments and to tournaments where the upper people were, I feel like, you know what, I think I could make it. And the FIFA level is a little bit different because you have to be in the MLS for a minimum of at least 2 years refereeing. And then, of course, we'll see, depends on how many badges are available and stuff like that. Then they will nominate you to become a FIFA referee. But I became a FIFA referee in 2015. I came into the league in 2011. So it took me 4 or 5 years to become a FIFA referee. And I think I had like 40 some, 50 some middles before I became a FIFA. So not anybody with no experience, they nominate. So I was really happy and they supported me. My bosses supported me at the professional level. And I had a lot of mentors and stuff like that. But that's how it went.
Nice. What are like, what would be the a day in the life of a FIFA professional referee when when you're not having to do a game the next
Yeah.
day or two? Like, what's your fitness and food regimen?
Yeah. So before all of this stuff, right? Because it has changed. Um, so let's say I do a game Saturday, travel back home Sunday. Sunday is a recovery day, but I mean, you're talking about I'm waking up at 5 in the morning to catch a 6:30 a.m. flight from the East Coast, West Coast, whatever, right? And by the time we go to bed, it's late. So maybe I have 3, 4 hours of sleep. So I'm tired. What I try to do is I don't try to eat anything until I get home. So I'll just try to do, I do like coffee and fruits, maybe something very light. And then when I get home, man, I go for it, because I'm tired and my wife is waiting for me. My daughter's waiting for me. So if I can grill or stuff like that, I'll do it. And then Monday is a day off. Monday is a day off, some recovery, some foam rolling, some stretching. And then on Tuesday, we start again for our game on Saturday. So Tuesdays can be like an endurance run. Wednesday can be like a sprint, a high intensity run. Thursday a medium intensity run, and then Friday we do a game prep before we travel back to the city where we're refing. And this is every 2 weeks because every 2 weeks we go to camps. So I leave to camps on a Monday, and I don't come back home till Sunday because we go straight from camp to the city where we're refing, and that's every 2 weeks starting in February all the way to all the way to like November. So I mean, most of my life or most of the time I'm gone. I'm sleeping in a hotel, stuff like that, sharing a room, which is awesome, no problem with that. But there's nothing better than sleeping in your own bed and with your own pillows and stuff like that,
Sure.
so that's it's and dieting wise, like the food I eat, I'm sometimes I am in a strict diet, but not every time. I still love my Oreos with milk. I still love my pizza, which we're making right now. So, but everything's, I don't eat every single day that, I try to do my proteins, my red meat. I try to stay away from red meat 2, 3 days before my match. So maybe 4 or 5 days, then I can eat some red meat. But then it becomes fish and chicken and a lot of carbs. I love carbs. I love rice. I love pasta. So I love veggies, of course, once in a while, right? But that's how it is.
So when you're having to do, you said a long run, like how long is that endurance run? How much mileage do you think you're putting in prior to a game, and then how much mileage do you put in during a game?
Yeah, so our trainer's really big on high intervals, more than the endurance runs. So I'll give you an example. So for today, my run today was a high intensity run. So what I did some foam row, dynamic with the hip series, and then I went on my jog, 4 or 5 minute jogging to warm up, and then some dynamic stretching, dynamic movements, and then I went on the treadmill. I did 10 miles per hour on an incline of 2.5, and I did that for 24 minutes straight. But so I did that for 2 minutes, and then 2 minutes hard, 1 minute at 3 miles per hour, and then so I did that 8 times. So a total of 24 minutes. So it was just on and off, and my heart rate was up. But I mean, that's a high intensity run because, man, I don't know if you guys saw, but FIFA wants to do a 5 substitution for the next coming months if we do come back to play, just because of what's going on of players not being in shape or being with the virus or stuff like or recovering from the virus. So imagine 5 substitutions, and you have 5 fresh legs in the second half. You're tired. I mean, you wish you could be subbing, or stuff like that, but you can't. You don't have a sub. Referees do not have subs. So 75 minutes, 75th minute, 80th minute, you're tired, legs are tired, and your 3 new players are coming in. They're strikers, they're midfielders. So we have to be in shape. We have to be even more than the players. So when we train, we try to do twice a week high intensity runs, but an endurance run can be a 30-minute easy steady state pace. That's it. So and a day for sure of sprinting. And when I say sprinting, I don't mean 20 seconds of sprinting or 30 seconds. No, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, and with a minute rest, because every time you sprint, you want to hit your max speed. So if you're sprinting for 6 seconds and you only rest for 10, well, your heart rate is up and you're tired. So the next couple of sprints are probably you're not gonna hit your top speed. So you want to go 6, 7 seconds sprint with a whole minute of rest. That way you are fresh for every single sprint. So that's our trainer. He takes care of us. We have all this stuff we have to wear. I mean, we're like robots now, right? We have this catapult in our back. We have our polar strap in our games. We have the radios. We have the beepers. We have the spray. I mean, literally, we have everything nowadays, right? So we're being monitored for sure. We cannot cheat. Professional referees cannot cheat. Cannot say, you know what, I did train. No, well, where's the data? You know, so all of that our trainer looks at.
Wow, that's pretty high tech these days.
Yeah.
Um, what is the hardest aspect about being a professional referee?
You know, when I saw that question, my first it came right away. It was being away from my family. That's the hard one. It right away it popped out. Why? Because you know, family is everything. Family is everything. They're there for you for the when you're up there or when you're down there, and especially with let's say newborn next week, and I have to go to a tournament for 20 some days. And I remember when I had my first daughter. Um, I had my first daughter in January, and in February I was gonna go for a whole month of a tournament in Panama. So imagine I was gonna just see her for a week or two, and I was gone. And then my wife had a C-section, and it changed everything. So I had to decline that in order to be home. But I had to go to another tournament the following month, so I can make up for this one if I wanted to go to another tournament in the summer, which I did. So that was that. But last year I went to 3 tournaments that the minimum was 19 days I was away from home. And that was in March. I was 19 days away. And then in the summer I went to the Gold Cup. And then in November I went to Brazil for the U17 World Cup for another 20 some days. And I mean, and it was a little bit tough, you know. Well, good thing nowadays we have this video chat,
Right.
right? So but my daughter doesn't even want to chat with me when I'm on the phone with her. She wants to go play. It's normal, right? So I mean, remember, I'm looking forward to that, to see her, and then she sees me, she's gone. She wants to go play, but it's normal, and that's how it is. But that's the most hard part of being a professional referee, just being away from home.
Yeah, because I remember having that kind of travel, and mine was not nearly what yours was. I mean, but even 2 weekends a month was a lot.
Yeah.
So I totally hear you on that. What's the best advice you can give to younger referees?
You know, my best advice is to watch as many games, to do as many games as possible, to get mentors, to get people that are up there already, just so they could give you the experience. So that way, because sometimes we go do games and then we're out and that's it. We don't get any feedback if there's no assessors. But if we have our own people, our own referees, our own mentors, they can be the ones come, you know. I'm not sure if Pedro Trejo is here at the chat. I think I saw him, but he helped me a lot when I was coming up. If it's not for him, I wouldn't even know what a state referee would have been. So because of him, I remember I traveled and stuff like that. But my advice is also, you know, don't let anybody tell you you cannot do this. And it's not only about refereeing, but in life as well. You know, so and dreams do come true, but you have to work hard. You have to work hard. If you want to be a professional soccer player, football player, referee, you have to work very hard. This doesn't come easy. You will have to make a lot of sacrifices for sure, a lot of dedication. And I mean, that's my advice. Just don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do this. Believe in yourself. I never thought myself from Bronzeville was gonna actually gonna first of all even get out of Bronzeville, and now I'm in San Antonio. So stuff like that, you know, like I just never thought that would be possible. But with the help of people, with my mentors, my friends, my family, you know, everything's possible.
Awesome. So one of the questions from the chat was, what's your next goal? So you've had a pretty big year in 2019 um, with the under 17 World Cup and Gold Cup and all. What's your next hope, or if you had a dream, your dream game, what kinds of things are you looking to do
Yeah,
next?
so my goal this year, local wise, MLS wise, is to do the MLS Cup. I haven't done the MLS Cup. I done playoffs. I did the MLS Cup as a fourth official, but I would like to do it as a referee. But it's not only me. It's 23 other guys that want to do the MLS Cup. So what am I gonna do differently? What am I, so every game for me, you have to treat it as a final, as a World Cup final. You won that MLS Cup. That's what I'm thinking about this year. International wise, anybody wants, who doesn't want to go to the World Cup, right? But in this World Cup, I don't see myself in the World Cup because I'm not in the process anymore. We still have Jair, which is he's from South Texas. He lives in El Paso. I think he will go again to the World Cup, and probably Ishmael as well, which he lives in Austin, and he had a great year last year in FIFA. So I still feel like I'm still young, that I can still make maybe another World Cup, but that's very far away. You never know what things could happen. So FIFA assignments, when they come, they come. But I know for sure I can take care of MLS. So that's my priority right now. Whenever I get FIFA games, I accept them. I'm happy to go do them. I'm happy to go do a tournament. But as of right now, my main priority is MLS and maybe the MLS Cup this year. Why not?
Sure. Any Olympic
Oh,
aspirations or?
you know that would have been awesome. Um, but I don't even know. Next year the Olympics. I think next year, right? They postponed to
Yeah, the
next
post.
year. So you never know. Maybe it's another. We have another year and a half for the opportunity to go to a tournament, to be seen by the bosses, and you never know. Right spot, right time. So it's great to keep dreaming, right? So we always have to put goals, dreams, so hopefully that is definitely in the books. So that'll be awesome. That will definitely be awesome.
On that same note, what's the best game you feel like you've ever officiated? And that can be two things. Like that can be like the highest level or the most esteemed game, as well as like what's the best game you felt like were the best or was your best game.
Yeah, so I would say my best and my top game has been a World Cup qualifier. That was between Mexico and El Salvador, and that was in El Salvador. And oh my, I mean, I still get goosebumps just remembering. But I remember we were in the national anthem, and El Salvador at home, they were singing their anthem, and I was getting goosebumps. And I'm thinking to myself at that time, I'm gonna rep this game. Oh, like let's go. I was pumped up, and that has been my best because it has been a World Cup qualifier, and for teams for me being selected for that game, it was pretty huge for me. Another big game I have in my books is I did Barcelona versus Manchester United 2-3 years ago, I think, and that was in FedEx, 80,000 people. It was a great game just because back then that was when, hey, John Henry, that was when Messi, Neymar, Luis, everybody was playing for Barcelona. Everybody was playing for Manchester. And talking about John Henry, I gave John Henry Juan Mata jersey signed. I think he's going to go get it because I know he's a big Man U fan. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have it in my box. Why not give it to someone like John Henry, big friend of mine? So I gave a jersey. So yeah, but that for sure has been my memorable game.
That's awesome.
There it is. There it is.
Sweet. Tips for game management. So what kinds of things do you, because you're dealing with um, you know, with MLS, probably, there's still probably people that speak different languages when you're in international games. How do you manage that when maybe there's languages that that you don't know? I know you speak Spanish and all, but are there games that you're in where maybe you don't know the language, or what kind of tips do you have for game management
Yeah,
for all
so
of us?
so so MLS wise, I don't have many problems right now because the players know the referees by now. I know the players. I know how to talk to the players, which player, what to talk to, what to say, what not to say. But in the international level, it's very important body language because players don't know you. I mean, you show up and you're doing, team from South America against a team from Asia or from Europe. So sometimes they have no clue who you are, but you know who they are. So of course, body language is very important. And when I say body language, I mainly say it for me because of my height, and because people are 6'7", 6'2", 6'4", and you have this small referee. that's about to control these players running in the field. So my body language has to talk. And when it does, then my whistle has to talk. My facial expressions, how, players can read body language as well. When you're weak, when you're strong, strong body signals, talking to players. And very, very important is every time you talk to a player, eye contact, no matter what. I mean, you have to show them who's the referee, who's the boss, who's in charge of the match tonight or today. And eye contact is very important, but body language, the tone of the whistle, a simple foul, a medium foul, penalty, a yellow card, a red card, but the whistle has to talk as well. Not only your body language and not only your voice. So that's how we communicate more than anything.
Do you guys have like weekly, if you're going into a game like an international game, is there a preparation that helps you get to know the players, or is that something that's done by the league or by FIFA, or is that something that you have to do on your own?
Yeah, so we when we have international games, we do get a coach assigned as well, and a coach can also be like an assessor. And for international games, we get there 2 days before. So we have plenty of time to talk about the players, about the teams, about their tactics. And nowadays you can go into the internet and you find everything, right? So you have their tactics, you have their style of play, who commits more fouls, who's a striker, who's the leading scorer, stuff like that. So we have to be ready. And there's many clips now online that we can go how they play, so we can anticipate. Because if you show up to a game and you have no idea how these players, their strategies, you're gonna be lost. And by the time you're gonna be surprised, and then you're gonna make a decision. You're gonna be far away, or you're gonna be surprised, and it's gonna be a bad one. So we have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to anticipate if they play a long ball, if they play a short ball, if they're high pressure, low pressure. So everything like that, we do our homework for sure.
Okay, cool. A couple of other questions. Do you have any strategies when it comes to mental health and staying positive? In big games, there can be a lot of pressure. So how do you overcome that pressure before and after the match?
Yeah, that's a great question. Mental health is key. I think yes, we can be physically in shape, but mentally, if we're not ready, especially now, because now there's VAR. So imagine going to a match, second minute of the match, you say no penalty. Next play, VAR says go review it. Second minute of the match in a big game, and you go watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that's a penalty. If you're not mentally strong to come back and say, okay, let's put it aside, it's gone. Okay, we restart with a penalty, but what's next? Because now we're thinking, oh, I just messed up. I just had a bad decision. I had to have the help of the VAR. So mentally strong, it's key. It's very key. And the thing is that we have our assistant referees and fourth officials that we need them. We know we use the radios, and we need them in our ear. Come on, Armando, let's go. Next play, let's go. Keep it up. Forget about it. Let's go next one. So we need our team. Teamwork is very important in the professional level, because assistant referees can read your body language. And by that, we work with guys that we worked many games before. And sometimes we just need go, keep running. We need those kind of teamwork. And that's how mentally we can be ready. But I mean, I get mentally ready before a match. I have my routine. As soon as I get to a locker room, I do this, I do that. I like to listen to some music. Mentally, I put a sheet of paper. I have some strategies, penalty area drawings. Okay, I'm going to run here. I'm going to run there. Be dynamic inside the penalty area, stuff like that. Keep moving. And when I feel that I'm losing concentration, I start, okay, let's take some deep breaths. And I have this whistle, and I have this whistle where I feel it, and I say, okay, it's time to get back to like if it was at the beginning of the match. So stuff like that, whatever helps you can, take a deep breath, think about whatever it is, just get mentally back into the match. Because I mean, we can lose focus. We can definitely lose focus throughout the match.
Have you ever been a referee that's felt like you've let things go and then had to pull it all back in, or pretty consistent always?
Um, yeah, I remember, especially in the college level, right? Oh, we're gonna let them play. They're big boys. They know how to play, right? And then first 2 minutes, boom, they're you have 3, 4 yellow cards, and you're like, okay, let's bring it back. So it happens. But you know, I go into a game with a strategy, and then somehow I have a red card in the 5th minute. That strategy is out because now the tactics of the teams change. And now, now I have more pressure on the players, and now they want me to send off the other players, so it could be 10v10. So stuff like that, and it's, you have to adjust. You have to adjust at whatever the game is given to you. So
One of the people had asked, since you were talking about VAR a minute ago, in terms of like, what are your thoughts on it?
oh yeah,
Should
okay, yeah.
should we
So
have it? Should it not? Are you
when we
allowed to
first,
answer that?
yeah, oh definitely,
Okay.
when VAR first started, I'm like, oh no, why VAR? No, let's get everything correct on the field. We don't need whatever. Now I love VAR. I love VAR. Every game we do now is like the VAR and the AVAR, which is the assistant VAR, are part of the team. They're part of the team. They're our colleagues. They're our friends. So they're there the day before, just like us. And the day of the game, they have breakfast, they have lunch. We write to the game. I mean, they're part of the team. The only difference is that they're upstairs or downstairs or wherever, watching the game, watching replays, having watching it in slow motion, 50%, whatever it is. And they're there to help you to get the decision correct. Because I remember one game I had in New England against Houston. It was a so blatant handball inside the penalty area, and I missed it. I have no idea how I didn't see it. But as soon as I got to the locker room, I saw the replay, and it took as soon as I saw it, I'm like, penalty. It took me a second or two to say that's a penalty. And I remember the next day I had it the whole time flying. I'm like, what happened? How did I miss it? If I had VAR, recommend a review, takes me 2 seconds. Thank you, and I forget about the whole situation the next day, or I'm not even thinking about it, because at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about the game. And the decision was correct. And that's all it matters. And nobody is talking about the referee, right? But if you miss the call, like I did that game, everybody, I was like on instant replay and all that stuff. I'm like, I love VAR. VAR. When I went to the U17 World Cup, I went as a VAR, and I was my job was there to support the referees, and it was awesome. I love VAR. VAR is here to stay. That's for sure.
Sweet. Are you willing to signal for a PK in added time?
I love that. Of course, have courage. Why not? If it's a penalty, why not? But lately, I don't think I have on stoppage time. But stoppage time is, believe it or not, is crucial, because that's when things really happen. Why? Because players are tired, miss challenges, and big decisions are made in the last couple of minutes, especially in stoppage time. And our bosses always say, look, when you add three, let's say you add 3 minutes at the 90th, remind your team, hey, we have 3 minutes. The game is not over. My strategy for me in stoppage time is, I tell the guys, I want you in my ear the next 3 minutes. I don't want to shut off, because 3 minutes, in 3 minutes I'll be in the locker room. I'll be done. I need them in my ear during the game. Only if necessary, they're in my ear, because I like to focus on the match. But if I had 3 minutes, I say, I want you in my ear the last 3 minutes. I don't want to turn off. Let's not miss anything, especially when we know we have the game in our hands, right? Let's not let it slip. So that's my strategy in the last stoppage time.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you have a good working relationship. A lot of the referees that you work with um, are people that you work with often, right, at the MLS level. Um, Even when you guys are assigned to FIFA games, I mean, do you have a crew that goes together, or are you meeting your crew when you arrive on site?
Yeah, so usually when we travel for FIFA games, we work with the guys from our country. Just because of other countries, you cannot referee your own confederation or country or stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely work with our guys that we're working in MLS. So I can be working with with John Henry an MLS game on Saturday, and then I'll be working with John Henry in Jamaica on Wednesday for a FIFA game. So stuff like that. We're always together. Email, WhatsApp, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's always
And
the same guys.
so I mean, do you guys always do a pregame? Especially with the youth level. and that's one of the questions that Danielle just asking us, can you give an example of a pregame with a crew that you recommend? Now, obviously, you guys have a whole lot more time together than we do when we're walking up to a youth match and are, okay, we've got 5 minutes, let's get this in. But what would you, I mean, what does it look like for you, and what do you recommend for young referees?
Yeah, so for us, it's a little bit different because we've been working together for years, right? So, but I still remind them. I still remind my crew. I don't care if this guy has 20 years in the league and it's my first year. I'm still going to remind you of what I want, what I like, So I still talk to them. I still talk about players. I still talk about tactics. Now, in the youth level, is very, very different. Why? Because you're probably working with someone that you never worked with before, right? And you don't have radios. So how are you going to communicate with eye contact? And very important is fouls coming in to the penalty area, especially if the referee is letting a lot of stuff go. I would say, hey, make sure there's eye contact before there's a foul, especially if you're going to signal in, because if I don't want it, then I can give you a signal like something, a hidden signal or anything like that. But pregame in the youth level, I think is sometimes even more important, because you don't know the other crew, you don't know the referees, and you want to work as a team. And it's very hard because you're reffing teams that they've been playing together since they were 5-6 years old, and then you suddenly show up and you're working with someone that you never worked with. So you have to definitely talk to them, and let's see how they're engaged in the pregame. If they're going to be engaged in the pregame, they're probably going to be engaged in the game as well. But if they're looking at this way, they're doing they're on their phone, hey, then it's maybe time to get to work, right? So it's a little bit different. But yeah, for sure, pregame is very important at no matter what level.
Nice. Before I let this question get away from me in the chat, Eloy, I think it's Eloy, that was asking about being concerned with injuries and how do you train to prevent injuries, which I know you talked a bit about foam rolling. Are there other things that you do to prevent injuries?
Oh man, last 2 years ago, I got injured from my calf. I even had to come out of a game, first time ever. I felt so bad. It was my calf. I mean, it was just a bad moment that I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, right? And I try to do everything to prevent injuries. I mean, I don't even know how many foam rollers I have that have all these spikes and don't have spikes and have medium spikes and have, I have no idea. I even have some free sleeves. I have some ball that you put on the free. I mean, I literally have all these massage guns, but injuries happen. Injuries happen. And I mean, there's something for sure you try to prevent as much as you can, but it happens. And there's no way I would think I would have gotten injured in a professional match in MLS with all the stuff. I eat healthy, I train, I foam roll, I did all the stuff. And then suddenly, boom, my calf, I felt like someone like poked me in my calf. But I'm like right now, I did some foam rolling in the morning. I'm going to do some massage later on with the massage gun, whatever. So stuff like that, you can just prevent as much as you can. But for sure, do a good warm up. Do a good warm up. Do dynamic stretching, dynamic movements. Make sure we get some accelerations before we do the actual workout. And after, it's more important the recovery. Have some static stretching. Take your time. I know we just want to do the workout and get out of there because we're tired, but it's very important. But injuries happen. I mean, it doesn't matter to who. Professional players get injured, so why not us?
Sure. So one of the questions when we were talking about VAR, is VAR the same for MLS games compared to like the FIFA events and all, or are there different guidelines for what it's allowed to do?
Yeah, we definitely have different guidelines, and people who watch soccer, for example, if you watch MLS, I know you probably watch the Premier League more than the MLS. The Premier League, those referees don't even go to the monitor. And they just listen to the VAR and say, that's a red card? Okay, red card. But we have to go to the monitor. It's mandatory. No matter if it's a factual decision. So for example, if it's the ball was inside or outside the penalty area, we still have to go and check. So there are different guidelines, but the laws of the game are still the same.
Everybody doing this shit,
So the laws of the game are the same for everybody in the world. but we do have different guidelines.
I mean, because
You,
this,
whoever that is that's got their mic on, if you can mute yourself, that would be great.
No,
Awesome.
like I was saying, but we have different guidelines. Every country can do their guidelines, right? So, but FIFA, they want this, MLS, they want that. The Premier League wants this. And now I saw an article a couple months ago that FIFA wants the Premier League to do it like FIFA. In other words, go to the monitor, because it brings so much controversy, and the fans, and they just, I mean, it just becomes crazy. Imagine I give a red card without even going to a monitor, and then I go to a locker room, I'm like, wait, I don't think that's a red card, but you told me it's a red card and I gave it. So I want to have a chance in, for example, in the MLS, where I missed a red card and the VAR says, I recommend, I'm not telling you what to do, I recommend an on-field decision. So I go to the monitor and I have the final decision. The referee has the final decision. I can see it and I say, you know what, I'm going to stick with my decision of a yellow card, or you know what, yes, that is a red card. So at the end of the day, the VAR only recommends, and the referee is the one with the final decision.
Got it. So a question from John Henry, and you don't have to answer John Henry does not have to be your answer in this case. So as a referee, who is one of your favorite ARs you have ever worked with? Doesn't have to be John Henry. And why or how does that AR give you confidence when you're in the middle? Or how can we as ARs improve and learn how to get more appropriately involved?
In the college level, John Henry. in the professional level, the first guy that comes into our mind is a good friend of mine. His name is Corey Parker. He's a FIFA AR. And what I want to say about him is that, first of all, I trust him off the field. I trust him off the field. I would trust him with my daughter, with my newborn, I trust the guy. So having the trust off the field translates to trust on the field. I mean, this guy has been a great friend of mine, first of all, and I could be myself. I could be myself and he could be himself. I mean, we've been going to tournaments since we both got on the list in 2015. We were in Jamaica for I don't know how many days. I mean, the guy knows my habits. I know his habits, right? And I even came out in his wedding as one of his guys. You know, it was awesome. So for me, having the trust off the field translates to the trust on the field. If he puts his flag up, I'm blowing the whistle. You know, I'm not telling this guy put it down or whatever. And of course we have radios. So if there's doubt, I always say, if there's doubt, please come in the radio and say something. But and how can ARs improve? Well, know the referee. You know, sometimes we go in and we know the players and stuff like that, but why not referees and assistant referees know the referees you're gonna work with? If I'm gonna work with John Henry and he's in the middle, I gotta know what he likes and what he doesn't like. I gotta know when he needs my help and when he's got it, you know? And that's more importantly. I cannot just show up and say, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he's with this and that. No, I gotta know what he wants. And if I don't, I'm gonna ask, hey, what do you want me to do in this situation? Oh, do this, then I know. I'm not second guessing myself in the match.
So does FIFA give you instruction on your emotions during a game, especially in an international match?
You know, emotions come and go during the match. You know, before when we're in the locker room, my emotions are here, especially on a big game. And then we're in the warm up. I relax. But like I said, in international games, we show up 2 days before, and we have an assessor, but he's now known as the referee coach. So if we do have anything, and usually they have experience. They were a FIFA referee or a FIFA assistant referee, so they have the experience. So they're trying to teach us and trying to, hey, this is gonna happen. When the fans erupt, make sure you're doing this. You always have to be calm, relax. Don't show a lot of emotions, because players feed from that too, and the fans and everyone. So it's very important to keep your emotions at the very low.
Okay. Are you ever worried about? It's been a while, I guess, since I've heard of a referee getting accosted or something like that after a match. Do you ever worry about that after doing a game that might be a little bit, tense and dicey about your safety, especially when you're traveling to other countries and all?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. I want to say 3, 4 years ago, I was in Atlanta, and I had this decision, and I didn't make it. I wasn't sure if it was a foul or not. I went to VAR. When I was jogging, I got hit by a bottle. So, and it just like, it hit me like right, and I was shocked. I mean, I was like, what just happened? And I'm checking myself, and then there's this player coming with a towel, and I'm like, oh, if I'm bleeding, I'm gone. And I wasn't even bleeding; it was just something. But that was in the stadium, with fans. Um, I got in messages on Facebook, Instagram. My wife has gotten messages. I remember I had a bad game in 2015, and I had over 100 something messages about people in their country that they want to do stuff. And I even got a WhatsApp. Somehow they got my number, texting me. I mean, it's crazy. The good thing is that here in the United States, MLS is still growing. So I can walk with a referee jersey and a FIFA badge, and they won't even know who I am. Right? I will get on a plane, and people won't even know what that is. But in other countries, when you go FIFA international wise to Mexico, to Costa Rica, wherever, they know you. I remember I called this penalty for I don't know what country. So, and it was one of those 50-50s. So I made a decision penalty. The next day in the airport, when we're checking in our bags, they were going at us. They were like, that wasn't a penalty, blah, 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 blah. And we were like, we just want to get out. We just want to get our bags. We're just going to get our tickets. We're just going to get out of here. And they were going at us. They were not letting us through yet. They still wanted to say their piece. But in other countries, it's a little bit more tough. When I go to other countries in Central America, before I leave home, I tell my wife, hey, this is the hotel I'm staying. I'm going to text you when I get Wi-Fi around this time, all that stuff, just to play it safe. Because you never know. You just never know when you get out of the country.
Wow. Let's see, you've already achieved getting to the highest level. What pushes or fuels you to keep going each day if you already reach the top?
That's a great question. Reaching the top can be, it's different from everyone. Yes, I am a FIFA referee, but that's not the top for me. For me, the top is refereeing the biggest tournament in the world, which is the World Cup. That would definitely be something I would go for it. So that's what pushes me every single day. I want to be one of the best, and that's what pushes me. I don't just want to be, oh, he was a FIFA referee and done. No, I want to go to tournaments. I want to go to the U20 World Cup. I want to go to another U17 World Cup. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to go to the World Cup. Why not? Right? If you have a FIFA badge, that is possible. You need a FIFA badge, first of all, right? To have that in your mind. And that's what pushes me every day. Yes, I am at the highest level in the US, but I'm not at the highest level in the international wise, because there is categories still as a FIFA referee. There's elite, tier 1, tier 2, stuff like that. So that's what really pushes me. And not only that, but this is my full-time job. I want to be the best at it. I want to keep doing MLS matches. I love traveling. I love doing MLS games. I love when my wife texts me after the game, says good game, or she texts me, she says, look at this play in the 37th minute. I'm like, uh-oh, that means something, right? But I love when she does that, because that means she's watching my games. And I love when she sends me videos of my daughter pointing at the TV saying, that's dad. I mean, stuff like that. That's what pushes me every single time.
Nice. Would you ever think about refereeing in another league, such as the Premier League? What does it take to do that?
First of all, you can't. It's impossible. It's impossible to referee in other leagues, because you got to referee your own league. You can go and referee other leagues, but certain games, and then you have to come back. So I had the privilege, and I went to Saudi Arabia to 2017 to referee 3 matches from their local league, because there was an exchange. So that's how you get to other countries to referee. So, but when you leave your country, it's mostly because international wise FIFA. for local leagues, it's very, very rare. But at that time, we went to Saudi Arabia and we refereed their Premier League. So that was pretty cool. So, but when you leave your country, it's for international FIFA. Usually, it's not for. I mean, like there's no way Premier League referees can come to our country and referee MLS. I don't think they want to do that, but they're not allowed. There's a lot of stuff you have to go through, right? So we have CBA, we have everything you have to go through the gut, everything. It's a. I don't think they want to, and so it's a little bit different.
Okay. If you have, those of you that are listening, if you have any other questions, put them in the chat. We're gonna wrap up here. So you've said a couple of times that this is your full-time job. Is that, and like right now, thing that's going on, how does that affecting you since there's no, games aren't being played and things like that? How does that affect your?
Yeah, so with professional referee organization, we have a salary, and we're still getting our salaries. So I'm glad for that.
So far,
But but game fees, we also get game fees as well. But since there's no games, game fees are out right now. But our salary is still coming in, which is awesome. And I seen all over the world where players are taking cuts, but we don't make what players make, right?
sure.
We don't. I mean, if I cannot take 30-40% of a cut, I mean, it's like players. I've been watching players taking 30%, 40%, which is awesome. I wish I could do that, but of course we're referees. Players are different, but good thing is that we're still getting our salaries. And what I heard is that next month we're supposed to come back in June 13th without fans, and they're gonna do like a tournament kind of thing where 4 or 5 teams, 6 teams travel to a city and play like Wednesday, Sunday. And we just got this survey where we might do like a tournament where we have to travel and stay in the city just so we could avoid traveling and making physical contact with other people or whatever. So I mean, they're still talking about, I mean, like, for example, I think today France, right, they said PSG was the champion, so that's it. They're not going to play till September. So no football for them until September, and hopefully we come back. But if we don't, then I still got to keep training. This is not my off season. In my off season, I eat ice cream, I eat cookies, I eat everything. I'm not eating that right now. This is not my off season. It feels like an off season because there's no travel, but this is not an off season. This is not a vacation. I'm still getting up. I'm still doing, my trains very hard, my strength training as much as I can here in my garage. I'm running outside in the treadmill, trying to eat healthy as much as I can. I'm not sure if with a pregnant wife of 38 weeks, she's baking almost every day. So once in a while I'll take a little piece of cake, but this is no vacation time, and I'm still training, and I'm just ready to go. I mean, our season just started. We just ended week 2. I think we're like 37 weeks in the season. So our season just started. So I'm ready to go to get back.
Nice. Danielle's asking, when do you think we'll see an all-female crew in the MLS or pro level outside of the NWSL matches?
Very soon, for sure. Very soon. We have 2 FIFA assistant referees that are female that work in the professional league. They're awesome. They're really good. Their offside decisions are always accurate. They're always good. We don't have a referee yet, but don't be surprised if you see one this year or even next year. But it's coming. Now we're seeing them more in other countries. They're getting ready. They're getting prepared. We just saw a whole female crew in, I think it was one of those championships, Liverpool against Chelsea or something like that, like last year. And they did awesome. I mean, they didn't even go to VAR, and they had VAR, so that means all the decisions were correct on the field. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for sure.
Sweet. Well, does anybody else have a question? I think we've covered John. This the stash is leaving, John, next week.
Yeah, John, I don't even know
this
what
weekend.
this is. I don't even know if you call it stash or something, but no, Howard Rep doesn't know about it.
Yeah, if there's anything else real quick, otherwise, Mondo, we thank you so much for being with us tonight and taking the time out of your schedule and preparing for a newborn. Sorry, I'm looking at one. So I guess it's kind of, what job would you be doing if you weren't a professional referee? You graduated from TAMU, right? So what if you hadn't become a professional referee, what would you be doing these days?
I think I would be coaching with John Henry and Clark.
At Clark.
So that would be awesome. But no, I love coaching. I love the game. So I think for sure coaching would have been awesome, or with Cesar. I don't know, but I'll stick with John Henry. But definitely probably like still be in the game. Still be in the game. I love the game. I love playing. I mean, I played 1 year in college when I was still refereeing. So yeah, stuff like that. I would still hopefully be involved. But as of right now, I love what I do. It's my passion, and I don't know what That's a good question, because what if, right? You never know.
We'll save a space for you at Clark High School.
Awesome. I remember refereeing those games.
That's right. Good deal. Well, is it true you can coach a team after retiring from refereeing?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
of course, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing, no bias, stuff like that, nothing like that. I mean, I did some games for Diana when we were still refereeing high school, me and Brenda. Even for Jason Anno, and Jason Anno was a professional referee for a couple of years, and I refed his games. So no, of course you can do anything you want, and hopefully still give a little bit more to the game, referee wise, assessment wise. Yeah, coaching.
How long are you able to referee? Like, is there an age limit for how many more years do you feel like you have in you to be able to referee at this level?
Yeah, so the I think the referee right now in MLS is like 52, and he's still refereeing
Got some
at
time.
yeah, his name is Kevin Estott. He's a legend, and that guy is still going, and he's still refereeing the big games. He's 52, but you have to pass the fitness test every year. If you don't pass the fitness test, no games, right? So the guy, that means he's still training, he's still in shape, but that's only him. There's other guys that, for example, Mark Geiger. That guy went to the World Cup twice, and he retired at 45. Right after the World Cup in 2018, he retired to become to work with pro, and he was just turning 45 or just 45. So he still could have refereed another 5-6 years in the league easily. But he said, it was my time to go. You never know. I hope, first of all, to accomplish stuff like how he did it, to come out on top, like Howard Webb as well, and maybe retire like that. But if not, but there's gonna be one day, right, where we're gonna have to hang up the boots and the whistle, and hopefully that day is very, very far away. But it's coming soon.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, Armando. We appreciate all your time tonight and for representing South Texas so well, representing yourself so well. We really appreciate it. And if there's anything that we can do for you here in San Antonio and ways for us to support you, please let us know.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
tell
you.
Brenda. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just thanks for everyone for tuning in. I could see a lot of familiar faces: Diana, Macias, Carmelo. I mean, I just worked with Carmelo, a preseason match in RGV, Pedro. I mean, everyone. So Santana. I mean, so just thanks for tuning in, and it was awesome, to share a little bit of my story, a little bit of my experiences, and I'm here for you guys for anything you need. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell Brenda we said hello and good luck next week.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Be safe. Be safe, guys. Have a good night.
Mustache.
Have a good night, guys.